What's up, Steeler Nation? How's everybody doing, man? Welcome to this edition to the Steeler Report, and boy, do I have something to report here. I'm sure most of you guys already know, but wow, how fast things can change. How fast things can change. What am I talking about? Some of you guys may ask. Well, let's get right into it. David Decastro has been released by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Yes, I said it. David Decastro has been released by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, there's a few reasons why this is interesting. Before I even dive into it, man, just on Tuesday, just 2 days ago on Terrible Towel Tuesday, I went into my thoughts on the Steelers bringing in a guy like Trey Turner, right? I was trying to figure out why were they bringing guards in? You would think if there was a question mark, on the offensive line, which arguably you could say there's more than one question mark. But most of us would say that tackle was probably the position that, we wasn't as sure about, right? You got guys like Chooks, Okorafor, who's going to have to prove himself now at left tackle. He hasn't played left tackle really for the Steelers. You got guys like Zach Banner that's coming back, which I think he's capable. Again, I talked about his body type and his size. I think he's a capable right tackle. We'll see. Hopefully, injury doesn't bite him again. But tackle was probably the more, of the position that's not as proven, or you probably didn't feel as good about. You felt pretty good about David Decastro, obviously, at right guard. And then a lot of us are looking forward to what Kevin Dotson can do at left guard. Now, throwing this into the mix, I clearly understand why the Steelers were talking to a guy like Trey Turner. Now, it's up to you to decide if that was the right guy to talk to, but I'm not even going to get into all of that in this particular video. I'm just talking about position, right? Clearly, it was a positional need. Clearly, the Steelers knew what was going on. Clearly, the Steelers knew what was coming. And, it looks like they're still in talks with Trey Turner. And we'll see what happens, man. But this is a very interesting development. Why? Well, very obvious. The Steelers need to rebuild the run game. They need to improve on the run game. And that has been the talk of the town, right? We've all been talking about that. We talked about it last year when Ben Roethlisberger still had games where he was throwing for over, 40 to 50 attempts. Run game just fell apart last year. A lot of people pointed at the offensive line. Steelers go out in the draft. They pick up a couple offensive linemen. It may not be the guys that some of you guys wanted, but I do like, the demeanor of a Kendrick Green. We'll see what happens with him. And they also drafted Dan Moore Jr. He's also a left tackle. So clearly the Steelers were looking to do something on the offensive line to help the run game. But the biggest thing that they did, obviously, is we draft Najee Harris. Now, you take another piece away from that offensive line, and we are literally rebuilding the run game. New running back, who I think will be a stud. All signs point to him being as good as he can be. But now this offensive line, there's a lot of question marks. Who will be the right guard? Will it be a guy like BJ Finney that's going to end up having to stick around? Or will it be a situation where now Dotson is going to go back and would give him snaps at right guard? I don't know. Will Trey Turner be the guy? Is there someone else? Will a trade happen? This gets very interesting now. Because now this offensive line as well as the running game has been totally, can't even talk right, has totally been reconstructed. This is interesting. This is very interesting. And I will be keeping my eyes glued to this situation. Now, do I think the running game will be as bad as it was last year? I hope not. And I don't think so, because obviously when you put a talent on the field like Najee Harris, he's going to be able to do some things even when the blocking isn't as good, right? And you would expect that we're going to game plan around our talent, but what you also could expect, we might start seeing more of those quick, short passes to complement the run game as well as running the ball with Najee. Who knows what this all will affect? Who knows who's going to be the starting line come week 1. This is interesting, man. This is very interesting. But like I always say, guys, and I know a lot of times, we try to be GMs and head coaches and, owners from the couch. But clearly, there are things that are going on that we don't know anything about. Clearly, because even I was asking, why are we bringing in a guard? Well, here's your answer. Now, here's the other thing. It says the Steelers will actually, clear or free up about $8 million in cap. So that's interesting. So we'll see. This, again, gives us the opportunity to bring in another offensive lineman. We definitely need one now. And maybe some other pieces to help out. We shall see. But yeah, man, I just want to know what you guys think, man. Definitely leave your thoughts in the comments. Like I told you, the Steeler Report will be kind of these quick hits. And it's just open for full discussion. And again, this is the reason why I never really go down that road of, oh, the team is stupid for doing this or the team is stupid for doing that. You never know what the inner workings are. You never know what's going on. All we could do is root for the team. You may not agree with every decision, but all you can do is root for your team if you're a fan. But this is very interesting, man. And I am a little concerned. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm a little concerned because, again, David Decastro is a guy, has he played his best football, last season? Maybe not. Some might say his best days were behind him, but he still was a solid piece. He's been a solid player. Again, if you watched the show on Tuesday, you guys heard me, defending him, where people wanted to trash him for last year. And I'm like, no, this guy has been an excellent player for the Steelers throughout his duration, throughout his career. And maybe he's at the end. Maybe this is the end of his career because apparently, it has something to do with his injury that he sustained, even if, the NFL is calling it a non-football injury, meaning, I guess, current day. I don't think it necessarily means that it's not an injury at all, but I think maybe they're referring to current season, right? But clearly it has something to do with the injury that he sustained last year. And he may just not be what he used to be. He just may not be able to get it done anymore. But again, a crazy development. It's probably not a development that any of us wanted to see, considering, again, that we already had pieces that we're trying to fill on the offensive line. Now there are bigger questions. We shall see what happens. So, like I said, man, just doing my part to try to stay on top of the news. Again, David Decastro has been released by the Pittsburgh Steelers. Question I have for you guys, how are you feeling? First of all, how does this affect the run game? Who do you envision will be the right guard? How do you feel about Trey Turner potentially being the guy who's going to land in Pittsburgh? And the fact that we opened up more cap space. Does this now mean that not only will we get a replacement on the offensive line, but does this give us a little more room to do other things like Malik Hooker? I know some of you guys are interested in that. Another edge. We shall see. But one thing we know for sure is there is a huge void on the offensive line as of right now. But all right, guys, you know the routine, man. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Cut on your notifications. If you like the video, like the video. If you dislike, you can dislike as well. Catch you guys next time. Peace.